In today's video, we're going to talk about remarketing and retargeting when it comes to the types of ads that you're running, whether that's on social media. Now there's some amazing features with Google, and we'll talk about Google in a separate video in terms of their new Performance Max feature. But when we talk about remarketing and retargeting, this is an underutilized aspect of digital marketing that most people don't understand the significance of it, but also what it actually takes in order to effectively remarket and retarget. So if you've ever been on a website and you're looking to potentially, let's say, buy a pair of shoes or buy a t-shirt, and then the next time that you go on social media, you then see a pair of shoes or that exact same pair of shoes in your feed, that is remarketing and retargeting. So there's pixels that you can put on your website for Facebook pixel, for example. And what it does is it gathers in essential data in order to be able to pull your information to then be retargeted and remarketed by X, Y, and Z company of whoever's website that you are on. Now that's the easiest and most common example, but you're also able to remarket and retarget to people that if you have a past email or customer list, you can then retarget and remarket to those people. You can also remarket and retarget to people who have engaged with your Facebook or Instagram page, for example. Or let's say that they went to your website and they were on your website and they didn't convert in whatever reason. Maybe they abandoned a cart, or maybe they didn't click a phone call now or fill out the contact form. You're then able to remarket and retarget them. You can also create things like lookalike audiences. So if there is a specific demographic that you're trying to go after, let's say you have an email list of 10,000 people, you can then use that list that you would technically remarket or retarget to, and then create a lookalike audience based off of those ideal clients. What you end up finding when you do these remarketing and retargeting strategies is the cost per customer acquisition tends to be so much lower than every other form of marketing and advertising when it comes to the types of ads that you're running, because these people already know, they like, and usually they trust your brand at this point. So it's much easier to spend X amount of dollars to get a much better cost per customer acquisition than it is to market to everybody that's out there. Now, you always have to do multiple forms of marketing and advertising, and remarketing and retargeting tends to be a lesser of the overarching budget, because you can't just be spending a ton of money if that's what you have and go after a very, very small audience, this very, very small potential list of people that you can remarket and retarget to. But it's so effective when done correctly. Now, most people fall short and aren't successful with remarketing and retargeting because they don't know how to do it. Once they know how to do it, they don't put the right dollar amount into it. So they'll either try to put a bunch of money into it, or they'll try to put very, very little money into it, or they don't have a big enough list, for example, to remarket and retarget to. They might not have the pixels set up correctly on their website in order to be able to do this effectively. And they might just try to use remarketing and retargeting for one specific thing, for lead generation. Now, lead generation, sales, that's a key aspect of remarketing and retargeting, but you also want to be making sure that you're building the brand as well. So using very relevant and up-to-date content in the form of both video and pictures, and helping connect to the audience and grow your brand from that regard as well. Remarketing and retargeting has gotten more difficult over the years, especially recently with some of the iOS updates specific to Facebook. So now Google has went into the market and they're starting to do a lot of remarketing and retargeting across all of their platforms. So we'll talk about in a next video on Google Performance Max. But just the idea of remarketing and retargeting is one that has been around for a while, but for whatever reason, people struggle to effectively implement it inside their marketing and advertising. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you want feedback on your remarketing and retargeting strategy for your business, feel free to leave those below. Remarketing and retargeting is not going to go away. It is only going to get a little bit more difficult with privacy issues and updates and algorithm changes. So you want to make sure that you're at the top of the curve when it comes to implementing this inside of your business. Thank you very much for watching today's video, and we'll see you next time.